Okay, if u equals x, v equals e to the x, we get u v prime equals x e to the x. Very clearly, v prime, where the prime implicitly refers to integration with, or the differentiation with respect to our variable x. V prime is just e to the x, so u v prime is x e to the x. So if we want to write out the integral of u v prime equals u v minus the integral of u prime v, we could write this out very easily since we know what u v prime and u prime are. Of course, we haven't written out what u prime is, but u prime is the derivative of u with respect to x. U is x, the derivative of f of x with respect to x is 1, right? So our u prime is going to be 1. Our v is e to the x. Our u v is just x times e to the x. And our integral of u v prime is the integral of x e to the x. So we write it this way. A little better to write the dx, our variable of integration, because I was a little sloppy with notation. So this integral equals what then? Well, x e to the x doesn't need any more work at all, does it? So we have x e to the x, and then this is just, well, we'll do it in 2 steps. That's just minus the integral of e to the x dx. So the integral of x e to the x dx, it better be x e to the x. Integral of e to the x dx, well, antiderivative of e to the x is just e to the x. So that's minus e to the x. And then we have our integration constant. We don't want to forget that. Okay? Now, is that right? How do we test whether this is an antiderivative of this? So we want to test this conclusion. So please test the conclusion. Let's see what we get.